Hey guys, welcome back to WD18, the Watford fans channel. I'm here, Shane, for another preview. This time it's the big one. The Golden Boys are back at Vicarage Road for 2 games in, well, pretty much the space of a week, both at home. We are taking on Wolves in a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. As always with these previews, let us get into a bit of a chat about our last game, which was of course only on Tuesday night, a 1-1 draw at home to Southampton in a game that has been described by myself and by many people as smash and grab. Watford losing the lead after just 6 seconds. Shane Long with now the fastest goal in Premier League history, putting us a goal down. Very disjointed from Watford attacking wise, didn't really piece anything together. The game looked to be kind of concluding into what would have been a very disappointing defeat, but Andre Gray saved Watford at the very end. Salvaging a point for us, a point gained, some people are saying. From my perspective, I thought it was 2 points dropped. I didn't think we played very well at all. Fair play to Southampton, though, they gave us a very, very sturdy challenge. And from my perspective, a bit of an unexpected one as well. I did think we'd get the 3 points on Tuesday night. We didn't. And ultimately, we move on. And of course, as is always the case, when you're playing for something in football, and just I think in general as well, there's always a tendency to go and have a look at what other teams did. Of course, no spoilers here, obviously, if you don't know the score. I'm sure a lot of people do, but Wolves did beat Arsenal in their game in hand 3-1. Very, very convincing win for them, and that sets up the game and the weekend very nicely as well, depending on which way you look at things. In regards though to Watford, let us get into a little bit of team news now. There is quite a lot of team news as well. Some of it at this moment in time is slightly unconfirmed. What I do know, what we all should know, is that Sebastian Prödl and Domingos Quina are both out with long-term injuries. They're not looking to play any part between now and the end of the season. However, Jose Holebas, Tom Cleverley have been reported in a few places actually that they may well actually be returning. I read it in the Evening Standard this evening. Holebas looks to be slightly nearer to a return than Cleverley. Chances are, it depends on how much they're able to train this week. I've not seen any reports of them training. I have no idea in regards to that, but rumours are Holebas Cleverley could well be involved at some point this weekend. If not, they'll definitely be involved in some capacity at Stamford Bridge next Sunday. From my perspective, I think it'd be great to have Cleverley as a player to come off the bench. I've said this before, I think he's a great squad player. Holebas, I think he's a crucial part of this Watford side. He's been one of my most improved players, I think, of the season. I'm sure lots of people have been voting online as well for their player of the season and, of course, for the goal of the season. I've not yet made my vote. I've not yet really made up my mind. I'm probably going to make my vote after this game, actually, on Saturday, because I think it is such a big game, seeing on who really kind of performs. But there are maybe 2-3 players in my mind that I think are in the frame for player of the season, and I think there are at least a couple. I've seen the shortlist. I think there are at least a couple of goals in there that I think are worthy of goal of the season. But in regards to team news, Holebas Cleverley, 50-50 for the weekend. I hope Holebas can play some part. I thought Messina looked really poor on Tuesday night. Knowing what Wolves are like, they tend to load players down the channels. They look really strong down there. Arsenal struggle with it on Wednesday night. It fills me with worry. That's one thing that I think a lot of people have asked me if I'm confident for the game. I am confident, but I think about Wolves' attack. Of course, I know we've beaten them twice this season, but this game has a lot riding on it, especially for Wolves as well. And we'll go on to talk about them and the game as a whole towards the end of this preview. And in regards, of course, to team news, let us now move on and have a bit of a chat in regards to a predicted lineup. Going to go for a same 4-4-2 kind of formation as we always do. Ben Foster's going to start in goal for me. Right back, Kiko Femenir comes in for me for Daryl Yamat. I thought Yamat had an absolutely shocking performance on Tuesday night. I thought our fullbacks were poor. I think Kiko has to come in again at right back. Our defence looked a lot better. A little bit, I think, less complacent when Cathcart went off at half-time as well. Of course, Cathcart giving the ball away for long. Early goal. He never really recovered really from that. Defensively, centre-backs Cathcart I think does start for me again. I think he'll be nice and fresh for the game on Saturday, having only played 45 minutes on Tuesday night. Who partners him is a big question. It's a question that's been, I think, that's pretty much haunted us, I think, for most part of this season, really. Who does start alongside him? Cabasele, I thought, did okay. I'm not sure. A lot of people say Cabasele is our best centre-back of the club. I'm not sure he is. I think he's pretty reckless, actually, at times. Does put in the odd good shift for us. I think Javi. What do I think Javi will do? I think Javi will go with Mariappa because I think he's been rested at he was rested in midweek. I think he'll start. Cathcart and Maps, I think, have started both games against Wolves this season, so I think Maps will get the nod. Left back, I want it to be Holebas. I pray, we can't have Troy back for the game because of suspension. But if there's one thing I could change about Saturday, it is the availability of Holebas. I hope he's fit. I don't think he will be, though. I don't think, given the amount of news that I've heard from the club, I'm not sure he's going to start. I think it will be Messina at left back. I hope Holebas can maybe make an appearance off the bench or something. But for now, I think Messina will start at left back. Midfielders, Dukes and Capu, pick themselves. Been solid for us all season. Right side of midfield, Will Hughes. Left side of midfield, I'm going to go for Roberto Pereira. Thought he had a very quiet evening though on Tuesday night. Needs to pick it up. Badly needs to pick it up on Saturday. Up front, again, another big debate. Andre Gray, for me, may have scored the goal, but I thought on Tuesday night, I thought he was really poor in general. Let's have a bit of a chat then in regards to our opponents, who are, of course, very familiar opponents as well, as this will be the third time we play Wolverhampton Wanderers this season. The first time we played them was a fantastic 2-0 win in what was unexpectedly warm conditions in October. At Molineux, I remember that game, of course, going up with Robin as well from the channel. Great game, 2-0 win. One of my favourite away days, I think, of the season. And of course, the unforgettable scenes at Wembley, the scenes that will live with me for the rest of my life, quite frankly. Being 2-0 down at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, Watford bringing it back to 3-2, Gerard Deulofeu with a fantastic, it's an orgasmic goal. Honestly, I can say this to you lot all here on the channel. There are times I've watched back the highlights reel for that so many times, and I still cry at times. It is just phenomenal how we came back into that game. And whilst it was all great for us there and then, we need to focus away from that. And I know it's hard to do. We need to focus away from that and think about Saturday. Wolves are going to want revenge. It's as simple as that. As I say, Wolves are going to sell out their away end. They've already done so. They're going to be looking for revenge, and it's just as simple as that, really. Our focus has got to be on Saturday. In regards to Wolves, let's have a look at their last 5 games. 2 wins, 2 defeats, and a draw. The 2 wins, a home win against United, 2-1. And of course, the game on Wednesday night, a 3-1 win. 2 defeats in the league as well. Of course, one of them was against us in the semi-final. They lost 3-1 away as well at Southampton, and the draw coming 0-0 last Saturday against Brighton. So, Wolves have done very well against the top 6 sides this season. They've taken points off them. They've beaten Liverpool in the FA Cup. They've beaten Chelsea at Molineux. Beaten Arsenal, United at Molineux, but they've struggled away from home at times as well this season. I remember them losing 1-0 away from home against Huddersfield. Of course, the 0-0 draw against Brighton, where they were expected to win. We can get at this Wolves side. We've done it before. They were 2-0 up at Wembley, as I say, and we were able just to break them down. We were able to get back into the game as well. I remember Wolves were incredibly confident coming into the game, made a lot of noise before the game, made a lot of noise during the game, but ultimately they ended up going home empty-handed. We need to have the same kind of mentality. I think it's literally as simple as that. We need to go into the game full of confidence on Saturday. 7th spot, I think it's all or nothing. If we win, I think we take pole position in that fight. I think we probably pip Everton as well. From our perspective, we can't be focusing on the Everton result on Saturday. We need to focus on Watford. We need to focus on getting behind the team, making the Vic an absolute noise and an absolute fortress, not a noise barrier, making it an absolute fortress, singing, getting behind the lads, pushing them to victory. Roy Moore said it as part of the in 81, what we do off the pitch is just as important as what the players do on the pitch. The players feel it. If we're nervous in that game, I think we'll feel it. I got the feeling as well, Tuesday night, we got that early goal. It's natural, obviously, the atmosphere is going to drop, but I think it dropped so much that I think it affected some of the players' performance. Passes were going astray. Not a very this season Watford performance, really. We've got to be on it from the first minute to the very last against Wolves. They ain't going to give up, as I say. This is such a big game for them as well. If they win this game, it could pretty much be their crowning for 7th spot. And it will leave us with a lot of work to do in the FA Cup final if we do want to get into Europe. And of course we want to get into Europe. Why the hell wouldn't we? It's the pinnacle of football, playing your side in Europe, representing England in Europe, and I think it would just be an absolute honour to do so. But we need to do the hard work first. I would argue we need to win our last 3 games. Chelsea again next Sunday at the Bridge. We need to win that game. we need to beat West Ham last game of the season. We need to hope that Wolves maybe drop points next weekend as well. If we beat them this weekend, we need to try and get something at Stamford Bridge. Hope that Wolves drop points. I can't personally see this battle going into the last game of the season, but if it does, Wolves are away at Anfield. You know, it's a massive game, and that will be a big game as well, potentially for Liverpool as well, given what's happening with the title race as well. We will have a home game, of course, against West Ham, a winnable game on paper, but how many times have we said that as well? I said that about Southampton, and look what happened. There's been a lot of talk about this game. I've not stopped thinking about it, but ultimately put our best foot forward and let's see what happens. I'm going to leave that preview there. I think we've done enough talking about this game. Thank you so much for watching. We will of course be doing fan cams on Saturday. Come along, give your opinion, guys. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.